we are back after that strange technical glitch. And we are putting this back on. And putting this on. There we go. There we go. That looks great. So yeah, you can get the Einlanzer, which is the only thing that's going to uncorrupt Frog. Which would be what this looks like. Okay, what's next? Oh, this is a good one. This is Pico's throne room. But he's not there. Why is Pico not there? Because he's in the dusk of time. No, he's not. He's in the darkness beyond time. Excuse me. Okay, we got another one here. Let's go to our final workspace. This one can be 2. So Melchior is in 1020 also. So imagine the Melchior from Chrono Trigger, but he grew up in the same world that Chrono did, sort of, after he got teleported, which is he's an element salesman. This goes with the theme of the gurus being corrupted to do the thing that's opposite of their specialty. In Chrono Trigger, Melchior, the guru of life, ended up selling weapons. And the guru of reason, Balthazar, he went insane. And the guru of time ended up lost in time. And so this is kind of it's a furtherment of that same deal. Melchior, the guru of life, is a weapon salesman, and he also deals in elements from El Nido. Just trying to find a background here. 1020, 1020. That might work. This looks okay, but I would have to... It's not quite right. And it just doesn't look right. Does it? It's kind of weird. I kind of like it. That looks terrible. That looks terrible. I don't know, man. I do like the size of him now, though. Maybe we've got something similar that's not... Maybe we could pull the same trick. That's pretty trippy. I'll hold on to that one. Hey, don't get so close to her. Okay, still on the lookout. You know what? This one totally could work. So here's a Reddit post that someone made that says, does anyone else think that this hole in the wall looks like Jesus? This might work. Maybe if he's... I did like the small Melchior before, but maybe I was just... Why would he be surrounded by skeletons? That doesn't make sense. Nope. This is not the one. But the question remains, do you think that this looks like Jesus? Is this a Jesus halo? I could see it. Chrono is heavily related to the Jesus mythos. Much as I hate to say it sometimes. Not like I got anything against Christianity, it's just kind of cheesy to do the biblical story again. That's why I was so bummed when The Matrix 3 turned into like computer Jesus story. It's like, it's a good story, but we've heard the whole thing many times. All right, forget about that. I do kind of like this, but we use it a lot. And it doesn't make sense that he would just be in the middle of the woods. Like, why would he be doing that? What's up, Sure Shot? Good to see you again, man. Nice to chat with you over these... I guess it's been years now. At least a year. Background. Here's a bedroom. This could be like his shop. But it's supposed to be the Kingdom of Zeal. The broken Zeal. Alright, you know what? This one is way too confusing for me. We're just going to move on to looking at this for a minute. Not that. We already looked at that. Let's look at this. So Mother Brain is a little bit more... Mother Brain is present in this story. Like, what would it be like for Fate to interact with Mother Brain? What would that be like? Because that is a possibility with all the nuances of what happens in the second story gate. I will just show the... It's a bummer when I can't find all these movies I thought I organized so carefully. Okay, so last time we were talking about the story gates. So the first story gate is the Vision Serpent, and the second story gate is the War of the Jealous Gods. And so this is a very, very weird cutscene from the end of Chrono Cross that has absolutely no... it has zero context. You know, what is even happening here? Wait, what's going on? I got all twisted up. Where's that sound coming from? Do you guys hear that singing? And the water running? What is that? Does anyone else hear that? Am I going crazy here? I don't even recognize that. What could that be? I'm having a genuine out-of-body experience right now. Okay, the music stopped. What were we looking at? Was it the last thing on here? Dear God, I hope so. It was. It was. Okay. Alright, I am sorry. I am sorry. Let's get to this. Alright, so like I was mentioning, this is the scene from the end of Chrono Cross that plays on one of the endings. And so it's like, alright, who the heck is this? The sky opens up over a city, mind you. Over a city. This is a modern day city, so I'm thinking this is... I'll tell you, everything, all the stuff, all the facts I supply are my own theory. This is not confirmed. So I'm thinking this is 1999. And this is a portal opening up and a huge person falling out of the sky. Okay, now this is important because we've never seen anything like this in Chrono Trigger or Chrono Cross, this huge person. Or have we? Because look at this. You can see that this android has boobies, so it is a girl. So that means it's got to be Fate, right? There's only one huge thing, and Fate is kind of got like that bald thing going on too. So my theory is that the original The original creators of this cutscene intended for this to be fate. That's the only conclusion I can come to. Otherwise, there's absolutely no point of reference for any sort of like huge person thing in Chrono Trigger or Chrono Cross. So basically getting her butt whooped as she gets thrown out of the sky and lands. Let's just show the whole landing. Ah! Boom. And then what comes out of the sky after her? Some fireballs, destroying everything, probably lighting her up. I mean, she might have just got roasted. And then this huge dragon, who, by the way, it's not confirmed if the dragon is saying it or if someone else is saying it, but there's this crazy voice that goes, "Is this the land of the gods?" It's right here. Is this the land of the gods? I wish I had the original clip. I can find it later, but... Okay, so someone please tell me, what the heck is this cutscene? And, you know, just what is this? This is so bizarre. Do a little one of these while we have a chat. I got tricks. Watch this. A little bit of Punto Guardio. Punto de Guardio. We can save our place. And I forgot the other thing I was going to do. Oh yeah. The one and only Justin 3009, who made this sprite. This sprite gets a lot of use. So what is the War of the Jealous Gods? So for my for this project, this is a huge cutscene to reconcile. If our duty is really to tie up all of the loose ends, then we have to reconcile this plot point. And so I tried to do that. And that's what...
Is this the land of the gods?
Fate 3D printed herself. Okay, so Storygate 2 is like the War of the Jealous Gods, and that is Fate and the Dragon God. That's what I came to the conclusion, that the only thing that huge dragon could be the Dragon God. And so before this story takes place, the Dragon God was enslaved by Fate, and Fate did not split him up into many, many pieces. She actually just enslaved the one Dragon God so that she could completely control nature. And she could... It's very complicated. There is backstory on the channel, but long story short, she blended with the Dragon God, and that is what the Vision Serpent is. And so after you defeat the Vision Serpent, then they split again. And that is where this hypothetical cutscene comes in. This is the right after you defeat the Vision Serpent and they split again, then this is what would happen. And so
Is this the land of the gods?
okay. Let's start with what is the Vision Serpent? I will fade this down.
After Fate was connected to Pico via the frozen flame, she was able to see out into various space-time as he was. She saw into the reptite dimension in the events of Chrono Cross, where she discovered the Dragon God, a creature so powerful it controlled the very forces of nature. A creature like that could be a useful tool indeed. The only problem was, the original Fate was born from a different dimension than the Dragon God, and so Fate did not know how to build it herself. This is why the demi-humans were protected during the time crash, and allowed to thrive without the influence of the records of Fate. The demi-humans, on Singing Mountain, are Fate's petri dish. She suspects that given enough time to flourish in their own society, they will follow in the Dragonians' footsteps and create a dragon god of their own design. Thus, she isolates and protects the demi-humans, allowing them to follow their own path of development. And her hypothesis is correct. By 2280 AD, the demi-humans of the Singing Mountain had indeed invented their own version of the Dragon God. After the time crash, Fate makes her move, making a play for the Dragon God. Don't forget, having established an unlimited connection to the frozen flame, this is a much stronger version of Fate than we've ever seen. This time, she does not divide the Dragon God and seal the individual plasma beings in slumber, but enslaves the one Dragon God. Now she has a tool to control the forces of the planet. With the Dragon God integrated into her avatar, Fate rises to a new level of power. This new creature, the combination of Fate and the Dragon God, was known as the Vision Serpent.
Okay, the Vision Serpent. So when you get to the end of time as a player, then it's all about building up to the Vision Serpent battle. That's the first story gate. And kind of imagine that unless you really build up your characters, I'm thinking like you should be at level 30 or so. If you want to go in with only this squad here, if you want to just go straight from the time that you meet Isla to the Vision Serpent, it's possible, but you've got to be really strong. And there's a very good reason for that, and that is that the Vision Serpent is made of dreamstone. At least the Fate. Okay, so Fate is a decentralized computer that can be anywhere. But she does have an avatar, Last Airbender, and that is basically attached to the Dragon God. And so that is made of dreamstone. So you'll need some strong weapons to stand a chance. So you can grind in prehistory
Is this
and get the
the
Dreamstone,
land of the gods?
as seen here. Man, I really need to get my organization better. I thought I had it all organized, but now I'm like, oh, perfect. This one. So if you go to prehistory, there's a bunch of Dreamstone there. So you can get that and forge it to make weapons strong enough to face the Vision Serpent. That is one possible way of doing it. No problem with that at all. However, there is another way of doing it. Because, as this picture totally implies, there is a few weapons out there that are very strong, and they're made of Dreamstone already. And those weapons, as we all know, would be here we go. This is the one we want. The Masamune. So from this point in the story, you can go to prehistory and get your Dreamstone armor.
Is this the land of the gods?
And you can go to 700 or 1020 to pick up Frog. And then in 1020, you have at the same time coexisting Chrono and Surge. So the general sort of, as we talked about before, with being able to wait certain story actions. So if the Vision Serpent is a very difficult boss to beat, then sure, grind through and do it yourself. Or it's easier and faster to go into these time zones and pick up one of these guys who is using the Masamune. So if you face Vision Serpent with Frog, it's easier. If you recruit Chrono before you go to the Vision Serpent, it's easier. If you get Surge and the Master Moon, it's easier. And what if you get all three? Exactly. So then you have Frog, Surge, and Chrono teaming up for the fight against the Vision Serpent. And that is a story choice that you made based on the equipment that they have. So even though you have total freedom to choose your party and do whatever you like, you can direct the narrative by incorporating these kind of moments. So no one is, trying to guarantee you that you have to have Surge with you during the Vision Serpent battle, but it just makes it easier. Okay, I need to take a second and organize myself. I'll be right back. Yeah, exactly. There they are. Boom. Surge not pictured. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to get all three. And as I mentioned before, like if you go to Frog and you just defeat him and take the sword, all you need is the equipment. You don't even need the character. I know that sounds harsh, but I'm just trying to get across the point of you could have a game where there's just total freedom, and that is the point of having it be replayable so many times. You go through, you make this story choice, um, and that's just, you just live with it. Like there's a whole bunch of permanent story choices that you have to make, and then, you know, it's no big deal because you can just restart at any time if you don't like the choices that you made, or you can live with it. And that's why permadeath is such a huge factor, because imagine that, you know, you're playing through and it would kind of be like you've cultivated this one save file for, you know, maybe 10 hours, 12 hours, 100 hours. Let's even go that far and say that you've got this one game of Chrono Break that you've been playing for 100 hours, this one run, and you've done everything you want. You've got everyone's relationships are sorted out. You've recruited everyone that, you know, that's possible. And then you're just out in the break fighting some monsters when, like, Luca goes down because you weren't paying attention. And so Luca is suddenly just erased from this save file. I mean, this run that you're doing. She's gone. I'm sorry, dude. That is the whole point of Chrono's sacrifice in Chrono Trigger. How the original creator wanted him, Masato Kato wanted Chrono to remain gone after. And the whole context of the game, the whole theme of the game would be letting the past go. So this would be a great kind of game to illustrate that mechanic where you play through a run, you're halfway through and Luca goes down and you're just like, you know what? I am just going to press on. Or you could just say, I can't live without Luca. We got to restart. And so you talk to the cave people that you recruited with Ayla, and you do the ancestral elements ritual. And suddenly you're back to, you know, Princess Nadia jumping out of the stained glass window. This one kind of illustrates that. (10,005 AD), a portal is open. Princess Nadia is transported. I can't even read it myself, to be honest. It's too small on this screen. I'll have to pull up a bigger version. Sorry. Princess Nadia is transported into a world where time is broken and there is no way back. Future blends with the past throughout the war-torn landscape of an ancient kingdom. Traditional Chrono gameplay returns to an open world waiting to be explored. Even though I lost the ability to speak with exclamation points sometime in my 30s, there is an exclamation point on that. Before you can enter the break, you must face a powerful foe, the unholy mix of fate and the dragon god. If you survive the Battle of Zeal, the real adventure begins. Reunite with friends and make new ones while training for the final fight with Pico. Okay, so the first story gate is the Vision Serpent, and then you're in the open world. Everything before that is like traditional Chrono Trigger style with the Dalton ruled time zone, kind of fixing things by going through time, the classic Chrono Trigger gameplay. Then you defeat the Vision Serpent and you end up in the break, and it's a brand new world. It's just a procedurally generated map where the sky's the limit after that. And so there's two things you can do. In the current condition of that world, there is it's very complicated, but there are no records there. However, there is like this pocket dimension, this pocket way, way in the hills. Hold on, I'll find the video. In the meantime, I want to point out how there has to be, no matter what story gates you've passed through, there has to be infinitely replayable content. And that's why a procedurally generated map with more challenging enemies cluster around key story locations, key items, and powerful equipment. Map exploration is limited only by the strength of the party. Okay, I think now is a good time we could just review this, and I know this has the thing that I want to show you guys in it. So this was the trailer that I put out a couple months ago. I think it was in March. I'll just skip to the part. Oh, I'll just talk like over it this way. So yeah, you got some title screens, and then I had this really long opening because you know, imagine that if there's ever a time for a game just to have no content except for this kind of vibe where it's just the music and random stuff happening, it's the opening sequence, because it's just waiting for you to press start. Okay, so this part is like a trippy kind of dream thing where it's like it's representing the, I hate when people tell you what stuff represents, but this is the fact that Nadia had to leave Chrono in the woods. So, you know, from Chrono's point of view, it's like he's having these fever dreamish things of her being here. She's looking at him, then she's turned away and it's all glitchy. Then she runs off. And so that's not even really so much, I don't know, maybe Chrono's point of view of just like her thoughts about what he might have felt. It's made to be ambiguous, but that was what I was kind of going for, was the moment when she has to, when she gets tackled into the time gate and she ditches him in the forest. So you can see that this is obviously the title screen. So that's how it would start. And that's why it's a perfect opportunity for, I don't know why I have to justify having blank, you know, a lot of nothing going on for a whole 2 minutes, but that's what I was going with there. And then it introduces this stuff. Oh, here's the combat one. Okay, then it was this quote about how characters are always in the middle of the storyline, from an article by Peter Tirias. Very cool article. And yeah, that song is by Basidiomancer. Threads of Time, no, I have not, but when I looked on Steam, it said that it's the release date is still unknown, but it looks pretty badass. The animation looks great. But I have a Mac, so I'm not even going to be able to play it. I'm sorry. I know some people believe that PC Master Race, but I'm a Mac boy right now. I'm not going to apologize for myself. Alright, what were we doing? We just did this. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you the thing I was talking about. So Vision Serpent is story 1, is story gate 1. But then here, this is the whole thing that we've been trying to talk about this whole time, is this weird cutscene through here. Here's the Vision Serpent. So if you go to 2300 AD, then you can cross into this. Look at that. What a scary depiction. Many will not survive their first encounter with the Vision Serpent. So if you go from that one point in the story where you were at the end of time, and then you choose not to pick up Chrono Frog Surge and just go straight in, you might get beat. But you know what? That's fine, because this game is all about starting over again and replayability. So we've seen this. Watched this yesterday. Okay, this is the part I want to show you for sure. So this is back to that super trippy cutscene. Okay. And then I was noticing that the only other time that there's a city shown in Chrono Cross is when they show Shala at the end, holding the astral amulet. So what if she is in that city, you know, when the Dragon God War starts? And so that's why if you do the Shala start scenario, you're basically start at the Ocean Palace, and then you end up in 1999 as it was kind of transported into the break in what's called the Dark Moon event. It's the same as how the planet pulled Chronopolis, it pulled Dinopolis in to counter for Chronopolis. In the break, there is one example of this where this whole 1999 time zone get pulled into the break, and it's like way off in the hills and the snowy hills. So that's why you have this washed out black and white theme going on. But anyway, Shala's up in there, and she's kind of like helping. They're in a mother brain controlled society because their whole sphere was transported through time. And so they're living in 1999 peak mother brain times, and then suddenly these two gods, you know, Fate and the Dragon God, fall out of the sky and start waging war in their zone. And so she's kind of like helping refugees, as she did like in Algeti in Chrono Trigger. So there's Mother Brain. Oh, this is the scene. Okay, so this is where Story Gate 2 completely changes the makeup of your overworld. So if you want to go in and recruit Shala and continue the story elements related to her and other characters, then you have to make a choice in the War of the Jealous Gods. You can... Okay, let me just read it. When you split the Vision Serpent, Fate lost control of her slave, the Dragon God. Now they fight again, an entire population at the mercy of their destruction. The outcome will change the break forever. Will you take a side in the War of the Jealous Gods? So unless the war is concluded, Shala will not join the party. So if you want to get Shala, then you have to push this story event forward. So if Fate wins, she takes over control of the break again, and the records reactivate. So there's a whole bunch of records in the overworld, but they're deactivated until this moment. If you defeat the Dragon God and Fate wins the war, then the records reactivate and you return to a traditional saving model. And you are also, once again, there's a chance that every time you save, the Bound Watchman will attack you. Because when you first enter the break, the saving style of the game totally changes. There's no more save points. It's just like a Harvest Moon or Animal Crossing style game where nothing you do can be undone. It's constantly saving, and there's no way to undo that, you know. So if Fate wins the War of the Jealous Gods, then the traditional save mechanic returns to your game. So if you want to play old school, that's how you do it. But if you defeat Fate and the Dragon God wins the war, then the Dragon God unleashes its fury on the people of the break. Terra Tower rampages across the overworld. So at the end of Chrono Cross, you have Terra Tower falling into the sea. And you have to think about what just happened. We just defeated the Dragon God, who Balthazar said was an avatar of the Dragon God. Balthazar himself believed that the true Dragon God was swallowed by Lavos in the darkness beyond time. So what is this? This is never explained either. What is happening right here to Terra Tower? Well, my theory is that Terra Tower is the true avatar of the Dragon God in the physical world. And so as soon as the Time Devourer was defeated, or as soon as the Dragon God avatar was defeated, the transformation takes place again. This is the Dragon God trying to come into the physical world. Look at this. Opens up. If that's not the Dragon God trying to be reborn, and so Terra Tower is not the avatar of the Dragon God, then I don't know what is. But this also explains... Okay, watch this. Perfect, and freeze. That implies the transformation is done, but it's completely... It's the closest thing we have to explain what this thing is. Not that. This. That. That. So is that this? Is it? It's about as close as we're going to get. So if we're going to reconcile what... Yes, do the face thing again. My face is growing. Okay, so this and this. They don't... Oh, dude, it started again. Bummer. Okay, you've seen it. This. And possibly this. It doesn't really look similar. However, I'm just going to say for artistic license, this is what we got. And besides, we didn't even see the end of this thing's face developing. The camera fades out. It implies that that's finished, but we can't know for sure. And I'm going to say we don't know for sure. And that this looks like this is that. Okay. I don't really know Drakengard. Me? Sound? We just got the music going. Let's see. I guess I could talk about something else now. So with all the different starting scenarios you can do, let's see if this looks all right. Not really. Kind of. This one? This one looks great. Kind of great. Okay. So with all the different starting scenarios you can do, we could talk about this one. So another part of the storyline that never really got talked about too much was when Balthazar enacted Project Kid. What we hear is that she if you do the Ayla start, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to the Ayla start real quick. I can show all those videos pretty easy. I'm kind of going through topic by topic and just doing all the videos that I can, and Ayla is one of the ones that's pretty much finished. I'll just drop all these. And this one, yeah, there is a cave lady route. So if you restart the game with Ayla, she will show up. It's like you encounter Ayla when you take the Nadia path. So if you, it's bound to be in here somewhere. Oh, here we go. When Dalton took over prehistory, Leah led the entire tribe, or led the tribe to... it wasn't actually the tribe. It was kind of like Ayla's best crew from both the Iuka and the Laruba. She led them to the time gate on Gaia's navel. Now they train in 700 AD, preparing for their counterattack. Level up with a brutal grind on the island. When you're done, run down the path to encounter Marl and Robo. They will join your party with the same equipment and levels attained on the previous run. Okay, so this is a gameplay mechanic where, let's say that you're playing with Nadia and you're like, dude, I messed up so bad. This is too hard. And so you go back and if you restart it with the ancestral elements, then you end up and you can build up your party to make them stronger and stronger and stronger. And then when you go down to a certain part of the map, Nadia and Robo will arrive, and then the story will continue on exactly as it was before. So that's a way to mitigate the difficulty as well. If you do a restart, you go to Ayla's start, and then you can train up a lot and go find Robo and Nadia. Thanks. Okay, so back to the kid start. Okay, so imagine that this is actually in 1030. This picks up before Balthazar comes to tell her to meet up with Serge. Dude, I feel that. Actually, one of the I Am Setsuna. Yeah, here it is. This picture totally inspired like this character in my original comic book stuff. But yeah, it was all from this picture of I Am Setsuna. And this is like she was raised by wolves. You can see. Anyway, we're not talking about that. That's for another broadcast because like I don't want to mix content. But I totally get it. Okay, so the demi-humans worship the black dragon. It's death at the hands of a human, and that would be in Chrono Cross. Because if you take out the black dragon, then the demi-humans like worshipped basically you eliminated the god of the demi-humans, so it sent their culture askew. They armed themselves with elements and declared war on humans. The last decade has seen the world set on fire by this holy war. Thanks, man. Thanks for the sub. So if you pick up with the kid start, then you're going to be in the midst of... It's kind of parallel to the human mystic war, because the demi-humans they're just mad at humans for killing the black dragon. So by 1030 AD, we've seen a lot of that. So the kid start picks up from there. Gil and Kid roam the land, circumventing the war, seeking out adventure and stealing treasure. And they also get the frozen flame. Because after Chrono Cross, Kid actually ends up in... This is kind of controversial, but here's my theory about Chrono Cross. They talk about the dimension split, but I think it was always there, because in Chrono Trigger DS, when Magus says there are as many worlds as there are potentialities, I think he knew about the parallel realities, and also Chronopolis was monitoring the parallel realities. So it's not like the dimensions split. They just converged on each other in Chrono Cross. They were always separate. It's exactly the opposite, you know? And keep in mind, I know this is going against the canon, but when they say the dimensions split, this is not the omniscient creator of the series telling us that the dimensions split. It's just, it's either Kid or Balthazar saying it. So they are well within their humanity to be misstating or slightly incorrect about it. So in this version of events, actually it's more accurate to describe the dimension split as two separate dimensions converging for a time. And that was the portal at Opasa Beach. So after Chrono Cross, she actually ends up back in the other dimension, her home dimension, because she crossed over to get to Surge. And so when you do a kid start, you're actually picking up in another world, and that's why there's a frozen flame there, because there's two. And so this starting scenario would definitely be inspired by the events of Radical Dreamers and what was happening there. So that's why you can see it's actually called Radical Dreamers. But it's in 1030, so you also get an older Kid. And they're kind of going through the war with the demi-humans. That is all the material I've prepared for the day. I wonder why the chat is not updating. That's interesting. It might be because of that restart that I had to do. At any rate, I really appreciate you guys joining me today, and I'll be back tomorrow, which is actually the Japanese birthday of Chrono Trigger. November 2nd was the day that it was released in Japan, and that was exactly 30 years ago tomorrow, baby. So put your hands together for 30 years going strong. And I will completely be back later to share some new content and keep talking about whatever with everyone. That was extremely fun. Thank you for coming.